Welcome to Three Geeks, episode 5.
Three geeks!
Three geeks.
Three geeks.
Three geeks!
Three geeks.
Live!
Oh, that's too funny. Well, you all were on camera for that one, so enjoy.
Good.
Yeah, so tonight we've got Max, Dan, Mike here, and Max will be joining us. Oh, I said Max twice, didn't I?
Yeah,
But
you
Max
did.
will be joining us shortly, and Jason's here for as long as his internet connection holds up. So if everyone wishes really hard, maybe he'll have a stable internet connection.
That's right. Or the people that watched my review of Heroes and gave it thumbs up that don't like to hear me talk will enjoy it if I disappear. True. 26 people watched that video, and Mike's the only one who informed me that there was no audio.
Everybody else is like, "Hey, tried."
Maybe we need to make more silent movies, Jason. Maybe that's the clue.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, that's awesome.
I really wish Max was here. Do you want me to lead off with the stories, Philip?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right, so Vin Diesel wants to keep working because nothing outside of the Furious franchise is working for him. And Fast and Furious 7 is now is it number 3 or number 4 grossing movie of all time? I think it's number 4.
Yeah.
And so Vin Diesel says that they're going to make one last trilogy.
One last trilogy.
That's news if you're saying we're going to make one last film, not we're going to make one last 3 more films, when we all know that he is going to keep coming back to this well until it dries up, because this franchise, see, I hated the first 4. I did enjoy 5 a lot. 6 was okay, and I thought 7 was fun. But, I mean, how many times can they make the same summer blockbuster movie?
So,
Mike,
go
Dan,
ahead,
Philip,
Mike.
somebody?
I might be getting ahead of myself here, but isn't it smarter to just do like one movie and then maybe build a trilogy off of it if it works, instead of just planning a trilogy?
I don't know. They're 7 films deep. It's successful, so maybe they have a cohesive story they can tell over the course of 3 films.
I mean, I'm waiting for the Fast and Furious Transformers crossover.
I want
Like-
that too.
Like Vin Diesel is like riding an Optimus Prime, and Optimus Prime like jumps off a cliff and transforms, and Vin Diesel's in his hand.
Yeah, that or the Expendables crossing over the Furious franchise could be fun. Sorry,
Or
Mike.
It wasn't Transformers.
Yeah, or all 3.
Yay!
Mike, you want to go now?
Sure. Here's the whole thing. As long as they make like the action sequences really eye-catching and innovative, sure, I'll be on board. Yeah, these movies are dumb, but at least they're entertainingly dumb. And as long as they keep being creative with what they can do with like car chases, then fine, cool. I'm all for that. Take them to space, whatever. Like, there's water on Mars, guys. You can have like off-road, hijinks on Mars maybe now.
Fast and Furious in space.
There
With
you
the
go.
Martian.
With the Martian? I like it, Dan.
Get Danny
No.
Trejo in it too.
No, with the Leprechaun.
With oh my God, the
and
leprechaun.
Critters.
When he's not in the hood.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was in space for one movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna go with that, I mean, Jason also was in space. So I mean,
So
we could start mixing franchises. What was that, Jason?
You could run into the guy who was making like the big like box to get Pinhead. Yeah, it'd be great.
The Critters were also in space, so you could use the Furious franchise to relaunch the Critters, and you have another franchise that the whole world could watch. I mean, the Critters franchise did launch Leonardo DiCaprio, so let's take everybody to space. That's a great idea.
You know who else was in space? The Muppets. Yeah.
The Muppets were in space!
What? Okay.
It's like a
This-
12-hour-long epic.
Yes. This would be the most effed up movie in the world.
It sounds great.
Oh my God. I don't think this would make any money though. I think maybe the 4 of us and probably Max would enjoy it, but I'm not sure anyone else would. I want to see the trailer for that movie.
I call
just
bullshit.
fill
I
up.
think a lot of people will like this movie.
And anyway,
They don't make movies to be good anymore. They just make movies to be bought.
Yep. And this is a movie you could easily edit at home if you've got all those movies. So
That is very true, Mike.
I'll get right on that.
Nice. Coming soon to Dan's Film House. But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, and honestly, I mean, this could do mediocre in America, and until this starts to fail internationally, I have a feeling over the next few years, until movies start to decline internationally, we're going to see movies we don't want to see. Transformers is a franchise that will not die until the international market says no more, no mas.
Well, to be fair, the Transformers franchise, I mean, if any one of us were the studio heads, we wouldn't let that franchise die either with $1.6 billion for a crappy movie. That's
Oh.
crazy.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you. It is down to money, but that's my point. Is that this movie will? That's why I think them announcing a trilogy, that might be actually Vin Diesel shooting low. He might be hoping he can be done after 3, and they get to number 10. They're like, "Holy shit, we just made $3 billion. You coming back, Vin Diesel?"
Actually, I just thought of this. The reason that they might be shooting for a trilogy is to shoot them all at once so they can release them one every year.
Vin Diesel's not getting younger.
That's true.
Mike?
And to make sure any other car enthusiasts on the cast don't die unexpectedly, maybe. Yeah.
That is sad but true.
Sorry, it's a bit dark, but maybe that is the reason. Yeah.
Too soon. But no, seriously, I'm watching Furious 7 the other day, and you know, these people are bouncing in car accidents like it's nothing. And there's like no disclaimer at the end saying, please don't try this at home. Your star just died in a car accident. Like, can we get one disclaimer? You're literally, like, Vin Diesel is just bouncing around in these cars, and he just gets out of it like nothing happened. Sorry, rant.
It's a good one. It's a good one, Jason. What do you want to tackle next, sir?
Let's go. Just keep the trilogy thing going. Somehow Will Smith has suddenly become a name that studios are not associating with. They are planning to do a Men in Black trilogy that does not involve Mr. Will Smith. I don't know how I feel about this. I liked Men in Black 1, and I really liked Men in Black 3, but I didn't like Men in Black 3 because of Will Smith. I thought Josh Brolin was brilliant in that film, and bring him back. I'd be okay with that. That'd be awesome.
I mean, that's actually why I think they're not bringing him back, Jason, honestly, is because I agree with you. I enjoyed 3 a lot, but it wasn't because of Will Smith's character or anything in it. It was the interaction with Josh Brolin and kind of the fact that they brought that universe back, and it was like, oh, this is a interesting world that you actually have and some stories you can actually tell us that are intriguing. So I'm kind of interested to see where they go with this. I'm upset. So this is where I would agree with the previous comment of why a trilogy? Can't we just try for one and see what we got? But I guess we'll see. I'm kind of intrigued. I'll have to see. Mike?
Wasn't Men in Black one of those proposed franchises that was going to cross over with Ghostbusters and 21 Jump Street and all that stuff at one point?
It was going to cross over with Jump Street, which that doesn't make any sense to me because you have an extremely successful franchise and another extremely successful franchise. Why would you want to ruin it by mixing them together when they don't fit together at all?
I mean, because money. Like you said earlier, it's like because these movies make a ton of money. I can't remember. I think Men in Black 3 did decent business.
I think it did too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're totally right about it being that's totally Josh Brolin's movie. I wouldn't be surprised if they X-Men First Class / Days of Future Past it and just rebooted it with him as K, since again Tommy Lee Jones, like Vin Diesel, isn't getting any younger. Way older than him though, but they just reboot it with Josh Brolin as K, and they're probably gonna get Jaden as J.
Oh God, please no.
Why did you put that in the air, Mike?
Well, your first, last, and only defense against the scum of the universe.
Oh my God, Dan, please take it away. Take it somewhere better.
The 21 Jump Street thing does actually make sense because if you watch the first movie, they took Will Smith out of hey Max. They took Will Smith out of being a regular cop. So instead of having to base a new character and then drag him into this world, why not take the 21 Jump Street guys and just throw them into that?
Yeah, but then you turn Men in Black. Well, I guess I really like the Jump Street movies, so I mean, I guess it would be a fun parody. And hey, that's a space thing, so we could tie it into our Furious Space idea, mixed with the Muppets and the Leprechaun and Critters.
Critters and Hellraiser and Leprechaun and everything else.
My mind is blown right now.
Yeah.
Hi, Max.
So Max, how do you feel about what was the topic exactly?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's like you've distracted me, Jason. I've forgotten.
Which topic? Which
Will
topic?
Will Smith-less Men in Black.
Men in Black trilogy without Will Smith. Go, Max.
I think that everyone in America is ready for a little less Will Smith and everything. So, I mean, yeah, the franchise doesn't need Will Smith. It's agents of a government agency. Like, you can have anybody in there. Let's get Men in Black. Am I mute?
I can hear you. You're good.
No, we can hear you. I think Mike just might not be able to hear
It's
you.
Mike again.
Oh no, not again.
Hold on. We'll get the techie box here.
Welcome, Jason. You get to enjoy a revisit
All right,
of episode 1.
Hold on.
All right, well, while Max is figuring it out.
Let's have a minute with Tom Hardy and let's see who Benedict Cumberbatch, and
Wow.
we'll throw
You're getting some serious actors there. Tom Hardy and Benedict Cumberbatch.
I don't know, Cat Williams. We'll throw Cat Williams in there.
Dude, with Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Hardy, you just turned Men in Black into an Oscar franchise.
That might actually have to become a serious action, or a serious movie at that point.
Throw like Ian McKellen in there, it'll be fine.
Oh, dude, Cumberbatch will Oscar
No,
the
you
shit out of that
They
movie.
have, they need Cat Williams or what's his name, Kevin Hart.
So as what? The
Well,
comic
Kevin Hart
relief?
is a hot name. I don't think
Around
Cat Williams is selling out theaters.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This could be his way back in. Dave Chappelle.
Dave
Dave
Chappelle!
Chappelle.
There you
There
go.
you go.
That's a blast from the past.
I would happily go see that.
Yeah, that would definitely be entertaining. I'd like to see him in a Men in Black movie. Yeah, just in nothing else. Or even 21 Jump
Cumberbatch and
Street.
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, man.
Oh man. All right, Jason, where do you want to go next?
Oh man, let's talk the X-Files trailer. It aired last night during Gotham, I believe,
Yes.
and
Good.
I was pleasantly surprised by the trailer. As somebody who hasn't seen the X-Files the way everybody, Dan and Philip have, as somebody who's curious, I'm more curious now because it seems like they're going to retcon the last movie a little bit in that trailer. They're obviously split up, and he is now getting back in with the FBI, so I was intrigued, and it's a show I will definitely check out. I hope it's more of a 24, we're back, we're going to do one season, and that's what you get. Then we're going to stretch it out, kind of like a Heroes Reborn, which you can see my thoughts on that on our cast. But, yeah, I hope it's more of a thought-out thing than just thrown together for a permanent show. Not that I wouldn't like the X-Files to be back permanently. I'm not saying that at all. It's just I want it to be focused on this season and not so much 3 seasons from now when they should be focusing on the now. Philip?
All right. So I was a big naysayer to this. I actually did watch the trailer, and I will definitely say they recognized the crap they tried to fill in the last 2 seasons, and they're like, oh, wait, we need to actually tell an interesting story and get to a point. So I'm with Jason. I think it doesn't have to be 1 season, but I think if they have a plan and they want to do, say, 24 or 36 episodes, spread that across 3 seasons if they need to make money. Do that, I'm fine with that. But have an end date, because I think that's really what hurt the original X-Files, because they didn't really have an end date. They started to just stretch it and stretch it and stretch it and stretch it, and it just got to the point where, like, crap, we're losing people. How are we going to fill it? I don't know. Let's just throw some characters together and see what happens. So I'm intrigued. That's where I'm going to leave it at. I will wait and see when it comes out. I definitely will say if you're intrigued by the conspiracy theory, if you're intrigued by just the notion in the comments that they have well, not the comments, but the topics in X-Files, you'll definitely at least be intrigued by the trailer. It's whether or not the show can deliver, we shall see.
That's what I'm saying. I'm cool with the X-Files continuing. I just don't want, like, when the first few seconds of Heroes, you see that Volume 1. And for a show like the X-Files and like Heroes that kind of lost its audience at the end because of doing weird story things, let your audience know that you're focused on what you're doing right now and you're not so worried about the future. Because as soon as I saw that Volume 1 on Heroes, I was pissed off from the moment the show continued because I knew that they were thinking 4 or 5 years, and it made it seem more like a cash grab than I already assumed it was going to be. That's all. Dan, sorry.
No, that's fine, dude.
Sore subject.
I love the X-Files, but two things. One, the last movie sucked.
That's what I'm saying.
It was awful. The only good part was they brought Mitch Pileggi back at like the last 10 minutes, and I was like, yay, he's the it's the director guy. But they continued the seasons in comics, and I don't want them to do it that way too, because they brought like everybody back, like the lone gunman guys. Yeah, they actually faked their death, and they're under like the big Washington military cemetery. They got this like super computer down there. Yeah, there you go. And like, cigarette smoking man didn't die. He's just like slightly mangled, even though he got hit by like several rockets from an Apache helicopter. But if they just make it decent, like make a nice, story arc that just goes, hey, it's Mulder and Scully, and there's some weird shit going on here, then I'll be cool with it. I mean, it doesn't have to be great. It just has to be not shitty like the last movie.
Well, Cigarette Smoking Man is back.
That's cool, I guess, because I really liked the character, but I liked when he got blown up.
From what I understand, it's only 6 episodes. 2 of them are going to be standalone, and the other 4 are going to try to wrap up the mythology of the show.
Cool. Standalone always means Monster of the Week, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I guess they're trying to sell streaming rights, and the only way Netflix or Amazon will put a bid in is if the show is ended correctly. So that does give hope to the fans that are hoping that this is going to be good, because they have a lot of significant reasons for wanting it to be good, because like I said, they're trying to sell the show as a whole. Mike, are you into the X-Files? Were you?
Yeah, I enjoyed the X-Files quite a bit. I'll agree with Phil that the last couple of seasons were sorely lacking. It's going to be interesting how they can kind of explain away the fact that we should all be dead right now. But I'm interested to see them back. I mean, they from what I've heard, they sound very excited to be back to work on it. They both look good. They both look like they can still do, decent drama and action and everything like that. And I look forward to seeing what some new players can contribute to their story. And yeah, just make it unnerving and creepy, like when it really hit its stride, and I'll be all for it.
Yeah, I agree. And man, Gillian Anderson is on a freaking tear with her shows. The Fall on Netflix is really good. Hannibal, she was really good on that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And Max, any thoughts at all? I don't think you watched the X-Files, did you?
Yes, famously, the only episode of X-Files I've really ever watched is the Base of the Moon episode, which is, I guess, notably one of the worst episodes of X-Files that they aired. But that kind of put me off of the whole show, and I never got into it. So, yeah, man, whatever, X-Files, let's do it. Sure. I hope it's a direct crappy remake of the crappy movie that they made, so that everyone finally hates the X-Files forever and gives up on it.
Nice, Max. I like how you just want the hatred spread around everywhere.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'd rather everyone be miserable than the few X-Files fans be happy.
Wow, squash the happiness of the few.
I'm kidding.
I like it.
I'm kidding. I'm totally indifferent towards this, and I hope it's good, and maybe I'll get into it if it's good enough and standalone.
Yeah. So yeah. See, it's interesting that you talked about that because I didn't watch. I mean, I was too young when the X-Files originally came out, and so I saw X-Files Fight the Future, that movie, and I was like, oh, this is actually interesting, and I started watching the seasons at that point, and then I started going back, and I just got heavy into it. And of course, they didn't have very many seasons afterwards that was very good. But yeah, apparently Max went the wrong direction and chose a poor episode. Sorry, man.
A poor episode can ruin a show for you for a lifetime.
It was the episode that was on. I was like, oh yeah, I'll give this a shot, and then it was just really, really stupid. I was like, why the fuck does everyone like this show?
I mean, there were some really bad ones. I'm not going to defend that, but there were also really, really good ones. So I mean,
I'm not going to tear it down. Like I'm just indifferent. It could go either way. I don't care. But yeah.
So you just need to
as
stay.
far as I'm concerned, X-Files is shitty.
Does anybody know if Vince Gilligan is coming back to write any of the new episodes? Because that would be interesting news to
I think
about. What's that,
Vince
Max?
Gilligan is making so much money with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Why would he go back to some crappy X-Files Man on the Moon, Face of the Moon show? Like, he's doing good work now.
I was just curious because that was his start. That's how he met Cranston. I mean, that's where we got that casting from. But yeah. So moving on, a little history with this news story. So it was a few days before The Martian came out. Ridley Scott had announced that he was not making one, not two, but three more Prometheus films before they made an Aliens 5, which is being directed by the guy who directed Chappie, District 9. What's the guy's name? Somebody help me.
Neil Blomkamp.
Neil Blomkamp,
Yes.
Thank you. And he said that he's going to release the Prometheus films. They're going to try to distance themselves from Aliens. They're not going to mention Alien in the second movie. And then the next day, we find out that the movie is called Alien Lost Paradise.
Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost, sorry. So I don't really understand what Ridley Scott was thinking the day before when he said, we're not making an Alien film, and then announcing that they are indeed making an Alien film. It's all very confusing. But, yeah, Ridley Scott making an Alien film, I'm down. Max?
I want an Alien film that is like the first Alien movie. Anymore, I think that they're either like, I mean, I don't know. Aliens was good, and like they're kind of genre defining or whatever, like Alien and Aliens. But after that, I feel like the whole thing went downhill after that. But I didn't really like Prometheus. I don't know where, I hope he doesn't make like 10 movies out of this. Every time I hear Ridley Scott say something else, he's added like 2 more movies onto the back end of this thing. And it's this whole like weird thing. You'd say it's the rumor mill, except this guy walks around saying 10 different things, and then everyone's like, oh my god, Ridley Scott's going to make an Alien movie. Ridley Scott flips Neil Blomkamp off and tells him to go fuck himself. And then it's just like, I don't know. We'll just see, I guess, when he actually makes movies, how they go. I'm not interested in it, though. If it's like a more Prometheus stuff, then I'm not really interested. I didn't really like that movie.
Dan?
This news keeps getting worse and worse. I mean, now he's not making Alien movies, he's making Prometheus movies. And the first movie had enough plot holes, it was like friggin' Swiss cheese. I mean, chick's getting a C-section, then she's running like 10 minutes later. It's like, that's not happening. Then you've got, like, the most moralistic director directing an Aliens movie. So, and it's going to be like Paradise Lost, like the actual, like, epic poem with aliens as, like, Satan and the rest of the demons. He's going to sit there and be like, I used to be up there with the humans. It's, I just want, like Max, I will agree with that. I want an Alien or an Aliens. because those were good. I liked 3. It was campy, not very good, but campy, and I liked it. But yeah, just go back to the basics instead of like, I don't know. That's it. Go to somebody else.
Mike.
Or what do you think is more
Yeah,
ridiculous?
I kind of agree with Dan, and I guess I'm agreeing with Max. In that I feel you gotta just keep it simple with this type of franchise. I mean, there's ideas in Prometheus I enjoyed, but yeah, the plot holes start adding up, and honestly, kind of the pretentiousness of the whole movie and and what they're trying to do to expand the universe of Aliens. It's like I don't need an expanded universe for this setting. It's like just give me some thrills, give me some chills, give me an alien being set on fire with a blowtorch. I can be cool with just that. I'm not that demanding when it comes to those movies because I think as long as they're effectively shot and edited and acted, I'll be on board for it. But yeah, I'm kind of wanting it to go back to just kind of a simple setup, as it were. Yeah, like Dan was saying, Alien 3, there's some things I really enjoy about that because of the setting change up and everything. Maybe not so much with regards to the story, but just the atmosphere was very appropriate for it, I felt. And yeah, Ridley Scott's getting his pretension on, I'm feeling, as he's getting older, so relax, dude. Like, make a simple Blade Runner 2, please.
Well, Ridley Scott has been like the critics' punching bag for a few years. So The Martian is out, and everybody actually likes this movie. So he's just probably overly excited, like a kid at a candy store, like I'm gonna do this and this and this and this and this. So
I mean,
that guy's like 95 years old. He's like, I'm gonna make 7 movies, and it's like, that's gonna take 20 years. How much longer are you gonna be around, buddy? Like, and I don't want to sound too cynical or whatever, but I mean, let's do the math here.
he replaced himself with a synthetic, Max.
Nice.
That's
yeah. So Ridley Scott is gonna be the first like cyborg thing to go and find the aliens and then get his head ripped off.
But I mean, the first movie I think worked so well because you just had a bunch of people, and there was a friggin' alien, and you didn't know about it. You just thought it was a giant drooling monster that just killed everybody. Thus, Alien.
That's kind of the
alien.
That's kind of the crux of the whole thing. Yeah, is that like even with James Cameron's sequel, you don't get too far into the whole like, well, what are the origins of these aliens? No, you don't need an origin for them. They're monsters.
Let's
They
just
have
blow
a
the crap
queen.
out of them.
They have a queen and they kill you. That's all you need to know. And it was more like about characters than it was about anything having to do with like the mythology of the world and crap. It's like that's the other thing I didn't like about Prometheus either, was that I couldn't get invested in the characters because they were too busy explaining why I should give a crap about the world.
Philip.
Interesting.
And I don't like that human created the whole thing, and it's like we're destined to create this thing and make it better, and it's like, no, why couldn't it just like it took how many years for us to find for the alien to find humanity, just because space is so fucking huge that these things could exist and grow and evolve without us knowing about them forever, because it would take that long. And when you happen across them in the year fucking 22 whatever the fuck, then we get this situation. No, it's like, actually the aliens were came out of a human lady who had a C-section and then blah 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 blah, and I'm just like, come on, man. There's no more story to tell.
Oh man.
Like if you can tell a good story in the universe, but there's nowhere to go, and you're just making it worse. Thank you. You're Lucasing your whole franchise.
Oh no, he's not Lucasing. That's an improper term, sir.
No, he's Rob Zombieing the whole franchise.
There you go. He is making
and
worse.
Now you started me on a rant. Good job, people. You see, when you had something scary, it was scary because you didn't friggin' know about it. Like Michael Myers. He's a kid and he stabs his sister, and all of a sudden he's this giant dude in a mask just murking everybody, and you don't know. But then, let's go and retcon it, and now he's got the worst family in the friggin' universe, and his mom's a stripper, and everybody's like this, and the kid's all twisted, and he's not scary anymore. That's what you're doing with the aliens. There you go.
Interesting. So I would say in the second one, they're not really as scary because they take a different angle with it. That's what I'm saying. It's like that's why I'm surprised that Max says he wants the first one again, because the first one's a horror movie that happens to be based in space. Really. I mean, the sequel is an action movie. What's that, Max?
That's one of the few horror movies that I get down with.
Oh, okay. So that is Max's select horror that he can agree with. All right, I like it. But
I mean, it's that well made. It's very good.
There are other decent horror movies, but again, that gets into what you like and what you don't like, Max. But yeah. So what is interesting is the Prometheus I found somewhat interesting. I think the fact that it has anything to do with the Alien franchise is just a way to sell it, to be honest. I think he's trying to make a science fiction movie vice a horror movie. So I'm not entirely sure what his goal is. So I guess the fact that he wasn't able to make, oh gosh, why did the name just slip my brain? Oh, Blade Runner. There we go. The sequel to Blade Runner. And that was given to, gosh, I don't even remember, Denis Villeneuve, I believe is his name, or Villeneuve. I'm not sure how to say his last name. But I think that's what he's trying to reach back to. And whether or not it's going to be a trilogy, I doubt it. I'm in a little bit of agreement with you, Max. One, his age, but as well, two, the last Prometheus sequel wasn't met that well. I found, like Mike, there was interesting points into it that they could have told an interesting story, but they never bothered to actually make you care. It was more trying to sell you on everything else. And if you watch it from like you want to figure out what's going on in the world, then it's much more interesting. But if you actually watch it as a movie to enjoy, it's boring. Because there's just a lot of stuff like, why would you do that? I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Go ahead, Mike.
There's actually, a friend of mine actually gave me a link to this video that someone had edited together, which it's a cut of Prometheus spliced in with Alien director's cut. And so what it is like it's showing the parallels between the two stories, and that actually is kind of interesting to see. And they take out certain parts of Prometheus that don't work as well, I feel, in the original cut, and to make it kind of line up more with similarities to what's going on with Ripley and Alien. And it actually makes the story in Prometheus a little bit more agreeable, let's say. Like, they cut out a lot of the Guy Pearce stuff. They cut out a lot of the old man crap and everything like that, and a lot of the side characters, and in favor of just focusing on what's her name, Noomi Rapace, and what's going on with her. But I'm just saying, check that out if you feel like you'd want to see a maybe cleaner version of Prometheus with regards to story, because it focuses just mainly on her struggle, paralleling that to Ripley.
Interesting. I actually kind of like that concept.
I would make the suggestion, if you have to have a fan re-edit your movie to make it better, it wasn't very good to begin with.
The Phantom Edit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then again, once you cut it up and you switch this and that and blah blah blah, at the end of the day, you're still watching the same movie, and it still sucks. I'm sorry, like I don't know what movie were Dan and I arguing about where they have like 4 different edits of the movie and apparently one's supposed to be the other.
Alexander.
Yeah,
It's got like 4 different cuts.
You're sitting on Alexander.
Oh, Alexander.
However you want, you're still
got a lot of shot of Colin Farrell's nuts too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, yeah. I didn't expect that transition. I hate that movie. I don't even know if a cut could make me like that movie.
But there's 4 cuts, so you can take whichever one you think is worse, because they're not getting any better.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes me feel better, Dan. Thanks. I was worried that there was actually supposed to be a good cut of that movie.
Well, I think there was supposed to be, but there wasn't.
Yeah, oh God, do I have to kind of sit through Alexander one more time? Please tell me no. Please, God, no.
There's like a 4-hour one. You could try that one, I guess.
Oh, I'll pass on that. But so I don't know if you had this piece of news, Jason, but I figured this one would be interesting to everyone, kind of lift the spirits. He talked about the sequel for Blade Runner and a little bit of the story in that same article. He said basically it's going to take 30 to 33 years after the first movie. Ryan Gosling's going to be the star and Harrison Ford will be in it. He did say Harrison Ford is a replicant. So spoiler for those of you that haven't seen Blade Runner by now.
Oh man, you pissed Mike off.
Oh.
I'm not pissed off about that. I just don't want to know. That's one of the great aspects of that movie is you're
Yeah.
not supposed to know.
I would
you,
agree.
Ridley Scott. Thank you, Ridley.
Let's start retrofitting movies to explain them more, because the obvious, the audience obviously doesn't
Now, what is
know, what's going on, and we have to spoon feed.
What
them.
is Lucas saying?
What's
Whatever.
that?
So long as Ryan Gosling gets to take the boy comp test. Hey, girl. So you're wandering the desert and you see a turtle in the middle of the desert.
Let me tell you about my mother.
Nice, I like it. And so they supposedly are going to tackle that whole thing of the fact that he is a replicant. Shouldn't he be dead? So I don't know. That sounds interesting, but I have no idea what they're going to do.
Now we're talking about his character or about Harrison Ford himself? Because that dude has had plenty of opportunities to kick it in the past year. Between plane crashes or helicopter crashes, shit falling on him on Star Wars. I mean, he might be a replicant for real.
You're not supposed to know, Mike. That's the mystery, buddy.
Harrison Ford sold his soul to the devil way back in the day, and the devil's been trying to collect this year, but Harrison Ford refuses to die.
He's the new Chuck Norris.
Oh, Max. Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, so I don't know if you... Interesting. I thought that would be a slightly better news besides the fact of the ending. I mean, the ending is what it is. It is up to you on the interpretation of it. But I thought at least it was interesting that they're going to address it. I thought they were actually going to take a whole separate turn, because I remember we talked about this a few months ago. Dan?
So I've never seen Blade Runner.
I haven't either. I've been waiting for us to review it before I watch it.
I'm
Why
like the
spoil
only
the
one
ending?
that likes the first cut of it, the theatrical one. So,
Oh god, got 8 bad cuts too.
No, they only have 2.
You want that? Yeah, it's got what, 4 cuts plus the work cut documentary.
Oh. I've never seen the other 2 cuts then.
Yeah, the first
Awesome.
one, the theatrical has like the film noir voiceover. I really like that cut. I don't know.
Interesting.
I mean, there are times when the mood can suit you for it, definitely. Yeah.
All right. So, Jason?
I'm not gonna watch that.
Well, this is a good segue into favorite mob movies, favorite sci-fi movies. This is a weird combination to talk about, but we're going to do it because that's how we roll. For me, my favorite mob movie is probably going to surprise a lot of people here. A lot of people say The Godfather, which I recently watched The Godfather. I enjoyed The Godfather. I'm not going to lie, slightly overrated in my opinion. I'm sorry if you loved it. But Goodfellas or Casino are my 2 favorite mob movies. I love those movies. I love Pesci. Pesci is a badass. And the whole time I'm watching The Godfather, I'm watching it now. I'm like, this movie needs Pesci. Like, Pesci needed to be in that movie. Like, if they ever remade it, they need to bring Pesci. I'm looking forward to the Pesci, De Niro, Pacino, Scorsese mob movie they're going to film next year. That should be pretty good. But, yeah, Casino and Goodfellas for me. I love those movies. I love everything about those movies. Max? Tie in your shoe.
All the classic freaking mob movies, I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, like, Goodfellas, I call that movie Pistol Whipping 101. Like, if you don't know how to hit somebody across the face with a 38 at the end of that movie, then you weren't paying attention. But I like some of the newer. I want to talk about some of the newer crime movies, or I shouldn't even say newer because this movie's old as hell right now. But I don't know if you've seen the movie Narc. I really like that. It's the really dirty crime movie. The guy had no money to film it, and I think he did a really good job. The movie's got frickin' Jason Patrick in it, and you don't even hold that against the movie. And that's just a really good, I think, underrated crime movie. And that's the one I wanted to throw out there.
Nice. Mike?
Just mob movies right now?
Sure, I think that's kind of what me and Max just did.
Okay. I was just wondering. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I enjoy the Godfather, any of the Godfathers. Honestly, don't have a lot of issues with Part 3 aside from the daughter issue, but that's about it. But yeah, like you were mentioning, Jason, it's not really one I revisit a lot for in terms of like just having something fun on. Like definitely I'll watch it if I just feel like analyzing it or remembering how certain scenes play out. But I'd have to say right now one of my favorite. Well, I got a couple favorite. Like this isn't really a mob movie per se, organized crime movie, I guess. The Departed, I really enjoy
Oh yeah.
revisiting a lot. And honestly, just for the sheer B movie stupidity of it, I really actually do enjoy Gangster Squad on some level. Like it's stupid. I wholeheartedly know it's stupid and cheesy, and you know, it's just there to be kind of this visually stimulating action flick. But there's a lot of stuff visually that gets done right with it, and I do like Sean Penn's kind of villainous "Here comes Santa Claus" type of delivery, and it is over the top and just fun and embraces everything about that. One that I really want to try to get back in touch with, I haven't seen in a long time, is what was it, The Untouchables?
Nice. Yeah, I've never seen The Untouchables.
Untouchables.
Too.
Yeah, that makes up for saying freaking Gangster Squad. Oh my god, dude, Gangster Squad fucking sucked. What about L.A. Confidential? If you're gonna say Gangster Squad, I mean that was the good Gangster Squad movie. Oh, dude.
Max,
Gangster
you're yelling
Squad?
at Mike.
Really?
Mike can't hear you.
I know he can't hear me.
Max is ranting at you, Mike, for liking Gangster Squad.
Okay.
Shame.
I want to see Gangster Squad. I'm curious.
I'm sure my feelings would be hurt if I could hear them.
I'm
He's
pretty
not
sure.
doing it on purpose, dude.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be. Dan, your thoughts?
Well, you stole my favorite, the Untouchables, which is on the very edge of being a mob movie, I guess. Because it mostly follows Elliot Ness, but whatever. But I had a couple questions. Jason, have you seen The Godfather 2?
No, not yet. I'm going to watch it.
Watch that. It is brilliant. And Mike.
Whatever, man. It's long and stupid just like all the other ones.
You're just saying that to piss you off, Dan.
I'm just going to ignore you now, Mac. I mean, it seems to work well. And Mike, have you seen the original trilogy, The Departed was based on?
No, I haven't seen. Yeah, I know it was actually based off of something else originally, but I haven't seen the original material.
Infernal Affairs. They're really good. It's Media Asia. It's Hong Kong flick.
Okay.
It's really cool. But
Okay.
yeah, I would have to go with The Untouchables for mine. I've seen that movie more than, I don't know, 50 times. All from Mr. You Forgot Your Briefcase. So yeah.
Philip?
All right. So, yeah, I definitely would be on there with Mike. I love The Departed. And then again, what Dan was saying. And I haven't seen Infernal Affairs. And I love Untouchables. So I guess that's why I kind of wrote a list out, just to make sure I could talk about one. And Scarface is one I love. It's not quite a mob movie. It's more a gangster movie. But, oh my god, the gratuitous violence, the chainsaw to the guy in the bathtub while he's just standing there. I mean, the face. Oh my god, it was awesome. I definitely enjoy that movie. And then just the quotable, all the quotable lines, the over the top, just the movie just in general, the Miami, the tone of the 80s, and like the cocaine world that was created at that time. So that's probably definitely what I'd have to go with from a gangster mob perspective.
Nice. My favorite sci-fi movie is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, because that could never happen. And for 16 Candles, that was a good one. I'm just kidding. My favorite sci-fi movie. I was thinking about this today. I don't know. It's so hard to say. Like, there's so many good movies. I don't know what my favorite sci-fi movie is, to be completely honest. I like a lot of sci-fi. Somebody else go first. Max, you love sci-fi. Take it away. Don't say Star Wars.
I mean, like, of course. Fuck you, bro. You took my answer. No, No, I'm not gonna. Again, I'm not gonna name any of the classics, because obviously we can sit here and talk about like 2001: Space Odyssey, all this, Star Wars, freaking Apollo 13, freaking Sunshine. What else we got? There's all kinds of good movies. But one that I really, really liked that I don't think a lot of people watched was a movie called Europa Report. It came out at the same time, sort of as Gravity with Sandra Bullock, and Gravity took all the press. But Europa Report is really, really good, and it's just a good, solid, hey, it's people out in space kind of movie. And what I really like about it is nobody really does anything super stupid, like, why the fuck would you do that? One of my main problems with Prometheus was, that whole movie would be ended if there was just like a guy there who was like, hey, don't touch that. So, I'd say Europa Report is probably like one of my favorite newer sci-fi movies that have come out.
Philip?
So I'm trying to do kind of what Max said and kind of go off the bandwagon, because honestly, like, Alien, that actually is kind of what got me a little bit into sci-fi, as well as Star Trek, of course. I would not qualify Star Wars. Star Wars is fantasy that happens to be in space. It is not science fiction, not even close.
Whatever, bro.
If you went to Blockbuster
parsec is a
Video
unit of
10 years
distance.
ago, it was in the sci-fi section.
That's awesome. I mean, if I wanted to go silly and cheesy, I could go sci-fi comedy and pull out a little Evolution. I don't know how many people have seen that.
Holy shit, you really went back. Speaking of David Duchovny.
That's at least...
That is a good underrated one right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's at least comedy. It's decent comedy science fiction. I have to go through. I'm just going through my movie list since I have it digitally right in front of me, trying to figure out. I think that's probably... I don't know if I really want to go that cheesy or not as my final list, but because otherwise I think most of them tend to be kind of towards the top. Do you have one, Dan?
I have a list, dude. Let's go with my favorite mainstream one is Dune, which just wiped the smile off of Max's face there. Sorry, Max. The old cut, not the new sci-fi thing. I'd go with Event Horizon. Maybe some Escape from New York. Still sci-fi. Even though it happened in '97.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Minority Report, if we're going that way.
I actually like that one.
Minority Report's good.
Yeah, I mean, you get more of dude running around, which is all he does in his movies, honestly. Yeah, I mean, and the old classic Blade Runner, of course, but yeah.
Back to the Future, that's sci-fi, right?
Yeah, I mean, technically. They talk about sci-fi gizmos and shit, so yeah.
Yeah, I think technically it is. Mike?
It really just depends on my mood. I really can't pick an absolute favorite. Like, if there's a movie that I want to fully immerse myself in and just get wrapped up in the details of and little intricacies, my filmmaker side of my brain, then it would be the Blade Runner, any of the Blade Runners. Because like you, Dan, like there's stuff about the original cut I enjoy. There's stuff, and I love seeing the differences between the different cuts of that movie. So I can watch that. I can watch all versions of that in a day and be satisfied. Any of the Alien movies, Aliens is my favorite out of all of them. But any of those movies I can be okay with, even Resurrection to a certain point, just because at least they got Firefly-ish like characters there for a little bit. Speaking of Firefly, Serenity,
yeah,
just on its own is a pretty fun movie. I mean, it's fun
villain.
to tie it in with the TV show is great too. But honestly, I knew about the movie before I knew about the show, and the movie is the reason I got interested in the show.
Yeah, me too.
So I gotta hand it to that. Like, it's a well put together little sci-fi adventure flick. And then I was looking through here. I think like another one I kind of enjoy a lot of is Dark City. Dark City is a pretty unusual but fun kind of trip. And I don't classify it so much as like horror as much as it is just suspenseful sci-fi thriller. But also, I agree. Dune is another one of those movies that, like you, Dan, I love the director. So yeah, I can sit down and just try to get into his head. It's like, what were you thinking with that design for the Guild Navigator?
More than that, though, I think Dune has the three guys you need to have a legitimate sci-fi movie. You've got Captain Picard, you've got Jurgen Prochnow, and you've got Max von Sydow.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say, you got Patrick Stewart with like a weird ponytail George Washington thing going on.
Yeah. They said you were dead.
Awesome,
Dune
guys.
fucking sucked, dude.
It's awesome, Max.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't
Not
seen it.
awesome.
Oh, there's Max with the hate. Before
But the book was so good.
Is that all you got? Really? I mean, it's not awesome? I mean, come on.
No, that I was very let down when I saw that Dune movie. I was like, wow.
It's freaking awesome. I mean, all the goofy-ass architecture, and then you got cool worms. And it's great.
I'd like to see them go for a remake of Dune. I could definitely deal with that.
They did. There was one on the Sci-Fi Network. It was
No. A remake of Dune, Dan. Not some shit they put on television, like an actual remake.
No.
All right. So for anybody watching or listening, hit us up in the comments section. Let us know what your favorite sci-fi action movie is, or sci-fi movie, or mob movie.
Crime, mob, gangster,
Drug.
Yeah.
bad people movie.
Let us know. If you like Dune, defend it to Max. Completely go at him. He likes it. He loves it. He will
Look,
comment
if you
back
like
and tell
Dune-
you you're wrong.
Like, dude, you already know why it sucks, and you're pulling on the little things that you like to claim that it's good. You know it's not good. Just fucking deal with it.
I can't really say anything, Max. I haven't really seen Dune, so I don't know if I'm on Dan's side or Max's
You're lucky.
side or Mike's.
Technically,
No,
Max,
just don't watch it. You're better off than all of us.
every movie sucks. It's up to you to take what you like out of it and then like it.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, so
Every movie, by its essence, is flawed in that it is a movie written by people, which is not how things actually work.
whoa.
Yeah, whatever,
I don't know,
Dune
this
sucks.
scares me. Are you saying reality TV is good?
No, God no, because even that is forced. I mean, that's the most forced. It's not even. We're not even going to write you a damn script. We're just going to
Okay.
take snippets of what you've done and put it together and make a pile of shit.
Okay, thank God. For a second there, we were getting dangerously close to talking like characters from Dune.
Ah, my bad.
However you want to wax philosophical, at the end of this conversation, Dune still sucks.
I am going to bring this entire podcast full circle. Nobody forgot the sci-fi classic Leprechaun 4, Leprechaun in Space.
Which, of course,
drop.
is the greatest movie because it is not Dune.
I should just mic drop and sign off after that, because there you go. Leprechaun. I don't even think I've seen Leprechaun in Space. I've seen Jason in space, and I've seen the Critters go to space, and the Muppets, and everybody else.
Well, the critters start in space, Jason.
It's kind of a cross between the
space.
Muppets and Jason go to space.
Oh, Sharknado went to space too. I forgot about that with his
What?
lightsaber style chainsaw. Yeah, in Sharknado 3, he got like a lightsaber chainsaw.
Alrighty.
Sam
No interest in
Raimi should be
watching that.
suing the shit out of that movie.
God, I haven't seen any of those movies.
They're fun, especially with the riff tracks, guys. Philip,
Yes.
video game news as I sign off.
All right, sir. So let's see. This week we have. Oh good gosh. Let's see if I can remember all my news real quick. 1 second. There we go. So Lego Dimensions came out this week. It's interesting. From what I've seen, is if it's basically it's very different than I guess Disney Infinity and Skylanders, where the toys aren't the center of the universe. What the toys get you is interaction into the world. So basically, if you get, say, the Back to the Future, or if you get the Simpsons, then you actually get that world, which is, I don't know what scale of a Lego game, but they actually built a Lego game around those figures. I don't know if you got the game, Dan. I know you were talking about being really interested in it. Okay. And then as well, we have Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, which, from all accounts, I watched
Tony Hawk.
What's that, Max?
They still make Tony Hawk games?
Oh, so no, they came back out of retirement. They came back out of retirement to make Tony Hawk, and what's funny is he actually looks old in the game.
does he break easily now?
Yeah, they didn't go too far into that. So like they had this game has been in like I don't know if it's development hell or idea hell or what, but basically they've gone through hell to try and release this game because the last time I saw it, it looked like a game from the PS2 era. That's how good the graphics looked on that thing. Literally a week later, suddenly the game is cel shaded, and hey, it looks a lot better suddenly. So I wouldn't have high hopes for those of you that are hardcore Tony Hawk fans. I'm sorry because I watched a couple Let's Plays of it, and a lot of people were complaining constantly. Like they said you had to do so many stars to get this map unlocked, and it didn't seem to be working out. Like the character creation screen had issues. It seems to be very flawed. But I guess if you're really desperate for a skater game, I think that's pretty much it, unless you go back to like a 360 or a PS3 era at this point. Yeah, I wouldn't get Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 if you have a 360 or a PS3 or probably even a Vita or a 3DS. I would basically avoid it and get any other game because it's much better. And then I believe the other game that came out this week was NBA 2K16. So for those of you that are in NBA, 2K is the best series. NBA Live just won't quit. Because as much as they failed and they've tried to release games and done awful, it just seems to be death. So Dan, are you checking out Lego Dimensions? Have you had a chance to check it out?
Sorry, I couldn't tell if you asked me that before. Everything kind of went jaggy.
Yeah, I could tell. I know. That's why I kept going.
Gotcha. I have not bought it yet, but I plan to.
Yeah. So
it looks freaking sweet. I like the whole idea where you have to build the portal yourself, which means that'll take me several days because I'll lose pieces. I'll be like behind the freaking couch or something. Also, what if I still have Tony Hawk's 2X for the PS2?
Wow. That probably looks better than Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. So
that is sad.
I don't know. I could be over exaggerating. I haven't seen them side by side to see that comparison, but you never know. Let's see a few other things. So this is kind of nice for those of you that get tired of, oh wait, I have to buy my game from GameStop or Best Buy or Walmart or Target because they have some sort of exclusive pack if I want to get this weapon or this item. Fallout 4 has said F all that. We're not going exclusive with anybody. They're, of course, going to have the DLC later, but whatever. That's their opportunity, but it's not tied in with any single retailer. So there is anything that's going to come free with the game initially is going to come free from anywhere you buy it. So you don't have to worry. So that's really cool. Dan?
That means I'll buy Fallout 4 because I hate that shit. I really do. Like, oh, go to GameStop and get this thing, or buy it on PS3 and get a new 5-minute mission, or that's annoying as hell.
Oh my god, yes. In the heyday when the 360 was winning, it was the dumbest thing ever because it was like, I don't give a crap. I don't want to buy it from this retailer or this retailer. I just want the damn game. I was like, I don't want to have to think about all that. Are you gonna say something, Max?
And then all the DLC you can buy anyway, and it's like, I mean, I never pre-ordered anything to get DLC. I was just like, when I want to play it, or if I want it at all, I'll just buy it.
Yeah, I think that's the sentiment here. And Mike, do you feel the same?
Oh, about pre-order stuff, or
yeah, pre-order DLC or whatever.
Honestly, it didn't really matter much to me. I mean, I pre-ordered at GameStop for, like, say, Arkham Knight when that came out, just because I wanted to make sure, because I knew it was going to be a big seller, and I didn't know how long they would have to wait if I just waited. So I was like, I'm just pre-order anyways. I didn't really care about what I got ahead of time. I did get the season pass just because I was curious about stuff like that. and so far, some of a lot of the DLC stuff that's come with the season pass is kind of a let down with regards to length. Like you were saying, like it's like I can get the missions done in 20 minutes, maybe or less. It's like nothing really challenging. But it depends on the game, I'm guessing. Like you said, if it's like, for example, exclusive weapons or skins or anything like that, I'd say you're best just to wait it out until they just become available in the store online anyways. Because all that stuff will eventually become available via whatever online retailer you use through your system. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about making money, man. So eventually, after that time, the exclusive goes away. They're like, all right, now we got to sell it to everybody else that didn't get it. So yeah, another thing is kind of interesting. I don't know if so, Max. I think you have an Xbox One. So you have an Xbox One or even a PC out there. I'm not sure how many people heard of this, but Project Spark, which is a creative studio essentially, where you could actually build your own game. That's not really necessarily what I found interesting about it, but the community, you could actually play community games. And then they also, of course, from Project Spark back in Microsoft, they created basically like events. So I don't know if every 3 months or 4 months, I didn't really keep up with the cycles, but they would release some sort of episodic adventure. And now what it's doing is it's going completely free because it was like a freemium kind of deal, which when I showed my fiance that, she actually got into a couple of the games, and she's like, cool, I want to play this again. Oh, wait, I died 3 times. What? We have to spend $10? What? And I was like, wow, that's awful. So at least now, if you enjoy any of those things, they're free. If you want to do content creation, you can get access to everything. You don't have to pay some different tier. You don't have to join a VIP club. It was some of the craziest stuff when I first learned about it. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I started to get into it. I'm like, this is dumb. This is like worse than most free-to-play on mobile platforms. I mean, it was awful. So I think that's why Microsoft is abandoning this, basically, is what they said. Because I guess they created, they got Conker. So for those of you that have Conker the Squirrel, they actually got that character, so people can make games with Conker now in Spark. So feel free, it will happen. What's that, Mike? You want to say something? No.
Is he drinking or fighting a singing pile of poo?
You can make him do that.
Well, okay. Maybe.
Max?
There might be merit.
Can I use this to make my gritty Grand Theft Auto style Pokemon game?
Maybe. You'll have to see if they have enough character models, but yeah, I think so.
Then yeah, do it.
There you go, man. They even got voices and sound in there. I'm not sure if Dan, any comments?
That's all I'm talking about.
One, Max, if you've got a decent PC, you can download Gary's mod and just go after all of the policing kids on there, because that's fucking fun as hell. You'll get kicked off, but it's great. Yeah, all this talk of DLC and freemium makes me sad.
So then,
and I'd go on a rant, but that's just gonna make me feel my age. So.
Yeah, man, so you don't have to worry. Freemium is an awful, awful thing. No one really appreciates that in today's market. Some people get hooked into it, and it's almost like crack.
But it's happening. It's like that sad Star Trek game that came out. Was it last year, or the year before, for your phone? It's like you've got to mine all these different planets to go to a different sector, and then if you want the original crew, you got to pay for every one of them. It's
because nothing screams the Federation in space exploration like mining planets.
Yeah, see, exactly.
Yeah, it's an awful thing. I don't think it's ever going to go away, unfortunately. I think they make too much money on the few whales that are out there that spend thousands of dollars on these games, and there's just enough of them that they end up making. Like some of these things, it's ridiculous. I think one guy, they said they released a simple kind of game and they made like $1 million, and they had no intention of it. Well, it was like oh god, what was that stupid Flappy Bird? That wasn't free to play, but that was ads.
But what happens when all the kids and people that are playing these games move on to DraftKings, and then nobody plays the games anymore?
When they move on to legalized gambling, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because this is not a gambling site.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely going to be interesting. And then news for those of you that this might be surprising to some, considering Halo 4 wasn't well received and had a lot. Not Halo 4, the Halo Collection, Master Chief Collection. There we go, got the name right. Because it wasn't well received, they're actually already working on Halo 6. And they already have a 10-year roadmap. So for those of you that were worried about Halo, you don't have to worry. Apparently they are so sold at Microsoft that they already are working on Halo 6. That blew me away. Dan, you look like you have some interesting comments.
The Master Chef Collection wasn't well. I mean, it didn't sell badly. It was badly received because it didn't friggin' work when you put it in the system.
The Master Chef Collection?
Yes, the Master Chef Collection. I said it right, sir. And that, I am convinced, would be a much better game.
Max?
Like, oh, the game's not working? Wait a minute, did you pay the $60? Yes? Okay, good, then go fuck yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. Matchmaking on Halo 2? What the hell's that?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So it's interesting, Dan, because I'm going to kind of spoil this before I drop this off to comics. Not spoil this, but kind of make it worse. Is Hitman seems to kind of be running the gamut between what Max just said. You spent your $60. Well, we'll see what's available, and you're going to go there. They delayed it for 3 months to make sure there's enough content, and they've said there's going to be, I think, two open worlds that you can explore. I don't know what the size of them are. And a contract session, but the 2 open worlds are only going to have 6 missions. And you're going to pay $60 up front, and then at some point, they're eventually going to give you the rest of the content of the game. And it's digital only, and it's PC, PS4 only. I was like, that is a horrible world.
Well,
I do not want it to go that way. Go ahead, Max.
They're dangling the carrot. They're not just like, yeah. They're like, it's all good, and then when it comes out, it's all fucked up, and they're just like,
So, you say they're dangling the carrot now, Max, but we don't know that it's actually going to work, right? So day one, because it's internet only. It's online only.
I mean, the carrot may or may not actually exist, but they're telling you that the carrot exists.
We're getting philosophical about the carrot dangling to get you to buy in. I like it.
No, because all of those Steam early access things that you pay for work so friggin' well. We're gonna do it on this now.
So I have no problem with Steam early access because it's $15 or $20 to get you in. This is $60, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a game that may or may not work.
But some of those games, I mean, you buy them, and because your money is supposed to go to them finishing the friggin' game, right?
This is true.
But for some reason, I forget the name of the game, but I was stupid and I bought into it because I thought it sounded cool. My character still falls to the goddamn floor and I die every time.
Okay, so I can understand your pain there, Dan. I haven't had that bad experience.
It was $5, yes, but it's $5 down the friggin' drain because I can't even play the goddamn game. Nobody's touched it in like 3 months. So there you go.
Oh, we hit a hot button with Dan.
Shovel your $60 towards Hitman, and it's 6 sad missions where your guy's gonna not be able to hit anything and just fall to the damn floor. None of the enemies spawn, and you can never get out of level 1. There you go.
Nice. I like the raid, Dan. Yeah, I definitely can. I haven't had that bad of experience. Most of my free-to-plays have been games I've been surprised about. They've been games that have I played for a while, and I didn't realize that if I'd played for 15 hours, I would have realized there's no ending. But for the most part, there actually was 10 hours of content. I was like, oh, that's not bad for 10 or 15 bucks. But yeah, that kind of situation, yeah, I'd be pissed. I agree with you there.
I mean, you can play it for 15 hours. You just can't get through the first freaking room because the door won't open.
Oh, All right, so that's all for video
Like, what are you talking about? I love that game. That room was badass.
It looks like old style, like Castle Wolfenstein graphics, and every time you step forward, you just fall through the damn floor.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Oh wow. All right, so Max, any comic book news?
That game is a metaphor, okay? You're just not seeing it.
The creators on your side. You're like he liked Dune. We're gonna give him this. The graphic of your guy.
And that is exactly how it went down. All right, in comic book news, Marvel is going to release a title called Spidey, where it follows Peter Parker, and it's like one shots per issue. It's its own self-contained thing in every issue. But they just recently announced that like they're going with the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Peter Parker's doing a different thing. He's not really being Spider-Man anymore. So I guess like just to appease the fans or whatever, they're doing this throwback kind of comic book. But I'm just like, why don't you guys just if you're actually going to take a step out there and be like, okay, Peter Parker is not Spider-Man. We're doing a different thing. Why not just do it for a little while and see how it goes? Like I don't know. I feel like this is unnecessary, and we're getting a lot more Spider-Man than we're asking for.
Don't you love Spider-Man?
I mean, he's all right, but I just think it's weird because like their whole big announcement was like, hey, like after Secret Wars, everyone's going to be in these different places. We're trying these new things, but then it's like, you know what? We're not trying these new things. We're going to keep on doing the same old thing just in case.
Nice, I like it, Max. Anything else?
Anybody? Dan, you a Spider-Man fan? He's frozen up on Mike.
Oh, no. I'm still here. I just know that I haven't gotten through like my last pull from like 2 months ago because it was like this much of Spider-Man.
All right, and then a bit of what I think is pretty cool news is the artist for the book called Sex Criminals, Chip Zdarsky, declined his Harvey Award because they didn't nominate him and the writer of that book for the award. And he was like, well, I'm not the funny one. We're funny together. And if you're not going to include him, Matt Fraction is the writer on that book, if you're not going to include him, then I don't want the award. And he's like, you should nominate the writer and the artist together for a thing like for a comic book because it does take both of them to deliver what you're giving these awards for. So if it's not specifically for either the writing or the art, and I think that's pretty cool. Like the Harvey Award's a pretty big deal, and that's like the I don't know, whichever one that like the Screen Actors Guild or whatever. All the people in the industry are voting for who they think is best, and for him to take a stand on that, I thought was pretty cool. And Matt Fraction's a really good writer, and he definitely deserves all the accolades that he can. Yada yada for that book. I really like it. Sex Criminals, check it out. But I think that's an Image book. But I thought that was pretty cool. You don't see a lot of people. He's like, hey, the spotlight shouldn't just be on me. And I thought that was pretty cool. It's interesting to see that nowadays.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, usually you don't see a lot of people making a stand like that. A lot of people will usually just take that award. So that is really cool that he would basically say it takes two of us to make this. So I want to have that opportunity for the person who basically my partner who helped me create this book, not just me, which. That's interesting. So how do they get nominated normally? Is it a writer and a artist, or not always?
Well, no. From this, I didn't really even know until of this little controversy happened. But, they only nominate who are like they can nominate both or they can nominate one.
Oh.
They just kind of do it however they want. But so I guess the art is funnier than the writing is, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how you make that judgment that the art is funnier than the writing. I mean, it's kind of true. The combination makes it good, but I guess.
Yeah, so like, yeah, I just thought it was really cool, and like I'm glad for him. So I hope that they, because he said that if he wins and they just send him the award, he's gonna like he's gonna carve the Mad Fraction's name in there, and then sell it for charity. so that'd be really cool. I just thought that was really interesting. You just don't see that kind of.
No. I like the
you don't see that
gorilla.
kind of good stuff anymore.
Yeah, I like his gorilla award that he's going to create by carving the artist's name into it. That's pretty cool. But at least he'd sell it to charity, so that's really cool to kind of even get more acknowledgement to kind of what's going on here. So that's definitely interesting. I think that's it. Has anybody else got any topics, any thoughts they want to bring up? No? All right. So I think that wraps up Geek News episode, or not Geek News, wow. 3 Geeks podcast. Sorry, went little flashback there. Episode 5. Definitely check out our friend Mike McG here at youtube.com, Mike McG TV. Perfect time with a smile, Mike. Perfect time. And I like the Vanna White swing by. We got it all going right at the perfect time, right before I switch back.
Philip, have we mentioned Game Island at all? Like since we started the news?
We have not, sir. Do we need to be mentioning Game Island?
Game Island? GoGameIsland.com. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's it. Okay. I was gonna let you go. I didn't know if you had a fun story.
Nope, that's it. GoGameIsland.com. That's all they get.
Okay, check out GoGameIsland.com in case you weren't sure. I feel like a head-on commercial, but at least we're not slapping people on the forehead. Exactly. But thank you all.
Game Island. Apply that shit directly to your spirit.
Oh my God. All right. I'm going to end this before we turn into a serious head-on commercial and people just go, oh my God, I'm not listening to them anymore. Thank you all for joining us. Have a good night.